So while we wait for the every other person to join in, impressive. Thank you for joining in, Muji. Thank you, Noel. Thank you so much. Like I said, this is the Fire and Burglary Insurance webinar hosted by the Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers team. And we just want to say welcome and thank you for taking time to join us today. So today you're in for a jolly ride and an exciting conversation. I think that the engagement can start off immediately. Please let me know your name and where you're joining us from, how you're doing and where you're joining us from. My name is Chidima. I'm joining in from Lagos. You can use the chat functions in the meeting room to just let me know where you're joining from. You can use the chat functions in the meeting room to just let me know where you're joining in from. Thank you. I'll be waiting for your responses. Thank you. I'll be waiting for your responses. Great, great. So this is still the Fire and Burglary Webinar Insurance, and we'll be discussing the benefits of having an insurance policy for your business in 2024. I cannot imagine having put in so much effort into your business only to have it destroyed by an unfortunate fire or burglary incident. So that can be very, very devastating. So today we are going to be looking at how you can safeguard yourself, the proactive measures that you can take to safeguard yourself and your business against occurrences like this. So just brace up, you're in for a jolly ride and an engaging conversation. At specific times, we'll be dropping polls in the chat room to gauge your knowledge about insurance. So in the spirit of ensuring that this session is engaging, please feel free to take the poll in the chat room. Let's know your knowledge about insurance generally. I hope that that's fine and that you would, of course, engage as we go on in the webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just allow me a few more minutes and then. Okay, right now there's a poll in the chat session right now, so feel free to take the poll and let's know your knowledge about insurance in general. All right, so while you do that, I'd like to make welcome the Chief Executive Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers in person of Anselm Igbo for the opening remarks. So while Anselm is about to give his opening remarks, please let's give him a virtual round of applause. Let's welcome Anselm with a virtual round of applause. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Let's welcome Anselm with a virtual round of applause. Great, great. I can see the applause coming in. Thank you so much. Hi, Anselm. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chidima.
Good morning. Over to you, please. We can have the opening remarks now. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. Our webinar today is themed Fire and Burglary Insurance, the ultimate game changer for your business in 2024. And it's a pleasure to see that you have taken out time from your schedule to join us for this section, which promises to provide insights into what you need to do to change the game this year for your respective businesses. With unforeseen events disrupting lives and businesses, where an incident can change our lives in an instant, having the right insurance coverage is crucial for peace of mind. Whether it is for protecting your property from the loss of fire or burglary insurance, Being adequately insured provides a safety net even when the unexpected occurs. Throughout this webinar, we will explore in detail the importance of a comprehensive fire and burglary insurance for business, understanding the policy terms and conditions, and navigating the claim process effectively. Interestingly, we will also look at how you will adequately insure your property to have a safe net even when the unexpected occurs. Throughout the webinar, we will explore in detail the importance of a comprehensive fire and burglary insurance for business, how we will understand the policy terms and conditions, and navigate the claims process effectively. Interestingly, we will also demystify the notion that online businesses are excluded from subscribing to this insurance coverage. We understand that selecting the right type of insurance policy requires a lot of technicalities. And to some of our clients, it is a daunting challenge. The purpose of this seminar is because we are assembling experts as speakers to guide us for every step of the way. They will provide for us invaluable insight and practical advice to help you make informed decisions about protecting what matters most to you. At the end of this webinar, I'm quite sure that we will be able to navigate the process of making the right claims, knowing the right things to do. It will give us an opportunity to understand our policies. Therefore, I welcome all of you to this webinar and urge you to ask all the necessary questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anselm. Thank you very much. We are glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. If you're glad also, just let me know in the chat room. Use the reaction buttons and let me know how happy you are to be here. I'm glad. So I'm just going to use this smiley button to say, yay. Great, great. I can see the reactions coming in. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you. Thank you. You're already laughing. Yeah, so you're in for a jolly ride and an engaging session. Thank you, Anselm. I like what you said, particularly in navigating the complexities in getting insurance done and then claims. And I'm sure that after today's session, we would have deeper understanding of everything insurance with specific reference to fire and burglary insurance. Thank you very much. So I'm not alone here. I also have with me two esteemed speakers that will be taking us on an exciting journey. With me, I have Benga Williams. Benga is the head technical Stanbic IBTC insurance brokers. So please, when I welcome Benga, I want you to actually give him a virtual round of applause. Can we do that, please? Can we do that, please? You need to react to that. I know that you can do that. Thank you. Coming in already for you. Hi, Benga. How you doing?
Fine. Good morning, Chidima. How are you doing too?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm all right. Are you excited about today?
Yeah, I am. We're
Okay.
here to
Okay.
take your questions regarding fire and burglary. Yes, we are.
All right. All right. Great, Benga. Nice to have you on. Nice to have you on. Thank you. I also have with me Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi is the regional team lead, Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers Lagos. I like to call her the delectable Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi, are you on the call right now? Hi, Ifeanyi. okay, we'll wait for Ifeanyi to join in, and then I will do a special introduction. So whenever she joins in, I'm still going to introduce her again, so that I need you to really see why I call her the delectable Ifeanyi. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So please, let's use the reaction buttons to engage the speakers when they say something that strikes you, which I am very sure that you would get. Please, let's use the reaction button. You can use the thumbs up, give them a thumbs up, a round of applause like we have always done, to engage them. So I'll just start off with you, Benga. We are here for fire and burglary insurance. So right from when I was in secondary school, I've been hearing people say, oh, insurance, insurance, insurance. And I also did a couple of, like in business studies, I also did insurance as a topic. And I'm sure that most of us on this call are not strange to the topic of insurance. But just to hear from a professional and to get expert knowledge on what insurance is, please tell us what exactly is insurance and why people should bother about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chidima, once again, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. We're happy to have you here. So back to your question, Chidima. I will make it simple and present it in a layman language as much as I can. Insurance basically is where contribution of the many is used to position where a few has suffered a loss. And insurance actually came in from back in the days where people contribute together, and when one of them is down or have events to do, they bring out of that contribution purse to help support the team. So what insurance is basically is to ensure that when you have a loss and suffer a financial loss due to unforeseen circumstances, insurance will assist you to bring you back to that financial status you were prior to that loss, so as for you not to dip your hands into your pocket, which you've tried as much as possible to save over the years, to maintain your current position of bringing yourself back to the financial status you were. So basically, insurance is about bringing people together, contributing their what we call the premium, and when one of them suffers a loss from that purse, the premium paid, it will be used to compensate that person that has suffered that loss. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Benga, for that insightful response. One thing I took out of what you said was insurance is done to take you back to where you were before you experienced a financial loss. Thank you so much. So how can businesses then determine the right cover to take up to subscribe? If insurance is to take you back to where you were before, as a business, how do I now determine that, oh, this is the right kind of insurance that I need for my business? Do I just come up and take up whatever insurance is in the market at any time? Is it one size fits all? I say, hey, everybody's taking this particular insurance, and then I just run and go and take that insurance with them. How do I know the type of insurance to take up as a business?
Okay, thank you once again. To know the kind of insurance you need to take depends on your business actually. Business vary. Some deal in textiles, some deal in stock of raw materials, some deal in farming products. So number one, it depends on your business. And for you to know what to insure, you need to understand the process of your business. What do I mean by that? For every business, it has a process flow from possibly where you get your raw materials to where you process it and possibly to final consumer, how you sell it. So you have to look at that chain of process to really identify where you can actually suffer a loss. And that is actually where you determine what kind of insurance you buy. There are some companies where or business owners, the process flow is not the same. So some can have 5 exposures, some can have 7 exposures, depending on your business process flow. Then it will now be then that you determine what the insurance you will actually need to cover your exposure. So that's how you actually determine your insurance cover. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you very much, Benga. So I'll determine the type of insurance I would take up based on the risk that's associated with, correct?
Yes, very correct. That's how it's
Okay,
been determined. Yes.
okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Please note that we still have the polls in the poll room, and then let's still gauge your knowledge on fire and burglary insurance. Thank you very much. So Benga, now to the nitty-gritty of the matter, why we are gathered here and why everybody is here to, learn fire and burglary insurance. So what exactly is that insurance? What is fire? What is burglary insurance? I see that it's been lumped up together. What exactly is it? And why should business owners bother about getting a fire and burglary insurance? Thank you.
Sorry. Can you confirm you can hear me? Okay. So
Yes, please,
as we
Benga,
are
we
all
can hear
aware,
you.
okay, thank you. As we are all aware what fire is, this intends to cover you in the event you suffer a loss resulting from fire to your business. We've seen instances where someone comes up, saves over the years, start up a business, and fire takes that out or wipes it out within a twinkle of an eye. And that emphasizes the need why fire insurance has to be in place for every business owner, because you cannot see your labor over the years being wiped out within minutes because of some unforeseen circumstances. So what fire insurance there, I will take it separately. Fire insurance and burglary, I'll take it separately, is to ensure that once there's a loss resulting from this fire, that you can be able to come back and stand on your financial position immediately or prior to when that loss occur, without you going bankrupt, without you going to dip your hands into your savings to bring yourself back to where you were before. Also, business also are exposed to theft, where we've seen businesses, their goods are carted away, millions of naira are lost, and you found yourself in a very tight corner and see, how can I start all over again? That is why we have a burglary insurance in place, where if such instances occur, you can be able to claim from your insurance company, and your insurance companies will be the one to bring you back to your financial position before the loss. Now, these two policies are actually separate, but because of the needs of people, they've been combined to what we call fire and burglary. So you can have one policy to actually take care of those two exposures, and you have them as a one policy. That's why we have a fire and burglary insurance, which intends to cover these exposures in the event you have unforeseen events occurring. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you very much, Benga. While you were speaking, something just a story just came to mind. It happened last year. There was this vendor who on one of the social media platforms who came to Instagram, to be very precise, to lament over how her shop was burgled the night before. I mean, she had just shopped goods worth, thousands, millions. And then she went home and to come back the next morning to realize that her shop had been burgled. I cannot imagine the emotional turmoil that that would have cost her. I mean, just imagine having to, like you said, you have spent a lot of money to get these things. We know that these things, this whatever goods she would have stocked up in her shop is not cheap. And then the next morning you realize that everything gone. Perhaps if she had an insurance policy, maybe the story would have been different. I don't know how the story ended, but I can just imagine how difficult it would be to come to terms with. And this is why we need insurance. It's not my portion, it's not an insurance policy, it's not an insurance cover. You need to take active and proactive steps to move from saying it's not my portion to actually taking up a fire and burglary insurance, safeguarding yourself from um, occurrences such as this. So I'd like to ask right now that what proactive measures can businesses take to reduce their vulnerability to fire and burglary?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So, speaking to measures that can be put in place, there are two kinds of measures, being proactive and the other one trying to, as much as possible, to reduce the extent of the loss resulting from that. So, speaking to being proactive, you need to have what we call a proper housekeeping to prevent fire. We know what causes fire and we know what can likely lead to it. Those things need to be properly kept. Where you're supposed to put your generator, for instance, you put that in the right place. Where you're supposed to fuel your generator, or and not while it's working. Some people fuel their generator while it's working, which is a big hazard. So you need to ensure all the steps are taken. You don't need to have naked fire in your building or premises. In this jet age, people use other forms of ways to light up the environment. You don't need to litter the areas with what will I call it, waste products, because all these things will aid fire if it eventually starts. So being proactive in the sense that proper housekeeping, ensuring where you're supposed to maybe cook, you have designated places to cook, you have proper electrical wiring in your premises. There are no short joining of wires here and there that could lead to fire. You have necessary stabilizers that could um, help protect your equipment and where it could lead to fire. These are proactive measures. But unfortunately, if such happens, what do you do? Then we go to measures you can actually use to reduce it. And that speaks to you having fire extinguisher in your premises. And the fire extinguisher will at least be able to reduce the quantum of loss you suffer. And we've seen instances where people actually have fire extinguisher, but at the point of the real fire, they don't know how to use them. So it's very essential that not just having the fire extinguisher in place, you should arm yourself with knowing how to use it and ensure that it's not expired as at the point when you actually need those things to quench those fires. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you, Benga. Thank you. While you were speaking, Ifine joined us. Hi, Ifine. I said that whenever Ifine joins us, I'm going to do like a special introduction and welcome. Ifine is the regional team lead, Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers, Lagos. Hello, Ifine. I had already called you the delectable Ifine, so just show us how delectable you are. Hi. Hi, Ifine. Are you with us, please? Okay, I can see that Ifine is trying to unmute.
Watch. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Network is frozen. It's frozen.
Okay, I think that will come back. Ifine seems to still be having network challenges. I think that would come back to you briefly. So we still have comments in the chat session. People are telling us where they are joining us from. Great. Peterson from Lagos, welcome. Adeoye from Lagos, nice to have you. Ayobami from Lagos, thank you. Chukwemeka joining in from Akure. Thank you so much. Zainab from Lagos, thank you so much. We have a lot of persons from Lagos. Welcome. We're really glad to have you here. I had said earlier that we had polls in the chat room, and then a lot of people have been taking the polls. Surprisingly, Gwenga, 76% of our listeners don't have an insurance for their business. And I'm hoping that after this webinar, you'll find reasons to get an insurance policy for your business. 78% of our listeners also haven't experienced any fire and burglary incident, but that should not mean that you shouldn't take up a fire and burglary insurance, just in case there are occurrences. Of course, we don't pray for that, but just to safeguard yourself from future occurrences. Thank you for joining Sarah from Lagos. Ayo from Ogbomoso. Great. That's the first Ogbomoso that we have here. Thomas from Ikoyi. Ikoyi is still Lagos. Sheyi from Lagos. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Elizabeth from Lagos. Thank you for joining in as well. Hi, Ifeanyi. Yay! Ifeanyi is on and she's smiling. See why I call that the delectable Ifeanyi. Hi, Ifeanyi. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Chidima. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, nice to know. A very warm afternoon, or is it still morning? A very warm morning to our audience. I had a bit of network lag, but no, I must be with the audience. So I'm glad to be here as well. Thank you, Chidima.
We are glad to have you. People are giving you a virtual round of applause. We're glad to have you. Yeah, we're really, really glad to have you. I think you can see why I call her delectably fine. Greatly fine. So we've been talking about it. Benga and I have been chatting about fire and burglary insurance. So now that you're here, I'd like to ask that from your own perspective and from your experiences as a professional in fire and burglary, could you please share real life experiences on how fire and burglary insurance has been of help to certain businesses?
Yeah.
Hi, fine. Are you still with us?
Oh yes. I must say that I've been in this for over 10 years, and I've come across. Yes, I'm very much with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. The network seems to be a bit, network bandwidth seems to be a bit low where you are, but we can hear you.
Oh,
All right, while we wait for you
I'll
fine to
just
sort out.
just I have my at the background just but I'll just continue. Uh, uh,
Okay, so we'll wait for Ifeanyi to join in and share real life experiences with us on how fire insurance and fire and burglary insurance, pardon me, has been beneficial to businesses. While we were also, Ifeanyi was also speaking, Mary from Gombe joined the call. Hi, Mary, how you doing? Kingsley from USA. Yay. Great, 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 great. Kingsley, thank you for joining us. I'd like to ask that you start preparing your questions because we're going to get a few time to answer questions and that you would have for us for this webinar. So get your questions ready. If you want to write them down, feel free to write it down. If you also want to pop them in the chat room, feel free to pop them in the chat room. We would have people who would respond to your questions and, guide you properly on how to get a fire and burglary insurance in place. Is Ifeanyi back with us right now? Hello, Ifeanyi, are you there?
yes, I'm here. Please confirm.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Are you good?
Okay. All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much. And please pardon me. Yes.
Okay, if I had asked that, you help share real life experiences on how fire and burglary insurance has been beneficial to businesses from your 10 years of experience, over 10 years of
Okay. Yes.
experience.
So I was
Yes.
going to actually mention two clients, just to give quick examples. So there was a client of mine that we had had conversations. In short, we started speaking Q1 2023 concerning insurance in his store. He has a very large superstore on the mainland in Lagos.
Apologies for the network glitch, please. I can see that if I am still trying to unmute. If I maybe we'll come back to you briefly.
Okay.
Okay. If I are you here now?
Yes, I am, and I must apologize.
Okay.
Struggling with the network. Yes.
Please take it away.
So I was going to say very quickly, I was speaking about a client.
All right, Benga, do you have experiences? I mean, in your time as a risk manager, do you have experiences of fire and burglary? How fire and burglary insurance has been beneficial to business, and maybe from an underwriting perspective, could you share some real life scenarios with us?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the question. Yes, over my years of experience, we've seen a lot, and we've seen where people were convinced to buy the insurance, and then at the end of the day, they could see value for what they bought. So I'll give a particular example of a shop owner who insured his products, his stock, right? And at the point of him buying those policies, he was stating that, oh, I don't really need this thing, but based on what you've told me, and this, let me just try and put that in place. Then, like months down the line, he paid his premium then, maybe around 100,000 thereabout. And months down the line, there was a fire in that market that consumed a lot of shops, including his and his products. And immediately he called and said, it has happened. I had an incident. There is a fire and it affected what's going to happen. And we said, no problem. You already have an insurance policy in place. And we asked him to notify us and asked him for some documents. And after he did that, there was inspections, and thereafter agreement was made, and he was paid back the stock amount over 15 million. And he was shocked, and he was saying, wow, does that mean if I didn't have this insurance, will I be looking for 15 million to start all over again? So he was wondering how did they do it? Are insurance magicians that they converted these 100,000 and paying back the 15 million? And we had to explain to him that, you see, insurance is like a mechanism where it's a contribution of many, and it has actually come to you. And since then, he has actually been our advocate, telling people how beautiful insurance is, and telling them you need to ensure, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. And he has always been our advocate. And that was a super experience for him. And he has not been able to go down financially due to that incident. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that he must be speaking of Stanbic Capital Insurance Brokers in golden tone, so happy, and of how we came through. Stanbic Capital Insurance Brokers came through for him. Thank you so much, Benga. Can you talk to us now? Okay, we'll still come back to Ifeanyi. Benga, something you said struck me. You said he notified his advisor or his insurer. What exactly does this notification entail? Is that I'm guessing that there's a notification period. How does it work? Is it a minimum of, is it immediately I get notified of a fire incident or a burglary incident? Do I just come running to my insurer even when I'm still grieving? Or do you have like a specific time frame available for people to come and notify their insurer? How does the notification process work?
Okay, thank you very much. For the notification period, usually it takes an average of 30 days. It gives you room between when the incident occurred and when you can notify from the incident day, which is 30 days. So it depends on how will I put it. You don't need to have the necessary supporting documents as at the time you're notifying. Or what is just insurance is asking you, notify me, tell me you've suffered a loss. Let's put it on record in our books. Let's make the reservations in terms of reserve for you when we want to pay you. So once you've done that notification within that 30 days, then the process can kickstart. However, we've had instances where, due to one situation or other, where people do not meet that 30 days requirement, and maybe before the incident got to their notice, like 10 days has passed or thereabout. In such instances, we treat those cases on its own individual cases, and we discuss with the insurers on how we can engage and ensure we progress on that conversation. And we've had instances where at the end of the day, you still get paid for the amount you've suffered. So that's basically the average number of days it takes you to notify. Thank you.
Okay, so the average number of days is 30 days for you to come speak to your insurer
Yes, please.
when you have experienced a fire or burglary incident. I think that's quite fair enough, don't you think? That's fair enough. So Benga, while I'm coming to notify my insurer, what do I come along with? Do I just come and with my teary eyes to say, baby, come and give me money? Oh. What exactly do I come with?
Okay, thank you. For you to substantiate your claim, there are some things you need to bring along, such as the invoices of your stock. If your stocks were lost in the fire, you bring, there will be a claim form which will be given to you by the broker, and you'll be asked to fill. Most times we guide the customers on what to put where they are confused, stating that, okay, this is what they are asking here, and we guide them accordingly. So, and we guide them accordingly on that. We also require you to have, like, if it's available, fire brigade report, the estimate, the invoices you.
Benga, please could you unmute?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, pardon me. So you just need to have the estimate of loss, what you've suffered, the amount, the quantity, evidences of the invoices you purchased prior to the loss, and also if you have the fire brigade report, you join it to it, and with that you can be able to successfully make a fire claim. On the other side, for the burglary, you, in addition to some of these requirements, the claim form, you actually need to have like a police report which will state what actually happened to substantiate your position to enable us process the claim. So those are the kind of request documents you bring together to substantiate that I have actually suffered this loss, and the insurers will take it there and treat the claim further from there. So that's the way you support your position of your loss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Benga. Can I ask that you please list out the documents one more time so that we can capture, so that our listeners can capture them. Perhaps they are looking to make claims or just get better understanding of what documents to bring in. So for fire insurance, could you please quickly list out the documents again needed to process a claim?
Okay, for fire insurance, you actually need a duly completed claim form. That's what we call it.
Yes.
And that will be given to you by the broker at Stanbic IBTC. We will ask you to fill it. If you have challenges, you can make a call and we'll guide you on how to fill that. Two, you also require to provide invoices of what has been damaged in your shop or your premises on your business. You provide those invoices to substantiate the quantum and amount of loss you've suffered. And you also do what we call a statement of claim, which will show the quantity of what you've lost and the Naira equivalent, and add them up together as a statement of claim to substantiate your position. And finally, for fire brigade report, you can also put in that, because most times when the fire occurs, where fire brigade comes to the rescue, they kind of give a report, which you can also add. But if there was no fire brigade there, you can still request for that, which would help us to process that claim. That's for the fire aspect. On the burglary aspect, you need to have the same duly completed claim form, a copy of a police report, which will state the incident that occurred. And you also state, have invoices of what you've purchased and was lost during that incident, together with the quantity and amount to substantiate that position. Then insurance will take up the conversation further from there. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Benga. We will drop the list of document that Benga has just listed in the chat room. So just feel free to go there and then pick up the list of document that you need to process a claim. So Benga, I don't want to go ahead of myself. We've been saying process a claim, process a claim, process a claim. What exactly is a claim? And how does that process work? After you've submitted the document, but how, I know that you're going to come with a couple of documents, but how does the claims for fire and burglary insurance actually work?
Okay, thank you. So when we talk about claim, is, as the word implies, is that you want to claim your amount you've lost. And that's why we call it a claim. Now, after you've suffered a loss and you've actually provided all the documents you are required to do that, then what is left for the insurance broker handling your business is to ensure that that is duly processed for you to be able to get money you've lost back into your pocket without having to resort to your savings. So what's being done, I'll just give you like a short process of how it's done. You submit the documents, and after that is done, there can be a visit by what we call an adjuster to the premises of the incident to look at the quantum of loss. You both sit down to agree on what you've actually lost. They look at the document vis-a-vis the physical scenario, and there's going to be an agreement of actually what you've lost. Now, after that is done, there's what we call a discharge voucher that will be issued to you, which will show the actual amount you've both agreed. So if you both agree that based on the evidences you submitted, the quantum and the inspection they've done, you've agreed of, let's say, 5 million naira, you would see the 5 million naira document will be issued on the discharge voucher, and you will be asked to sign, stating that you are in agreement with the figure. So once that is done, and within the shortest period of time, maximum within 3 working days from you executing that document, which you also input your bank account details, then you will receive your alert reimbursing you for that amount you've lost. So it's just that process, then you can be able to start again from where you actually stopped before the fire. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you so much, Benga. Thank you. I like how you have broken it down to make us understand how the claims process work. And I'm sure that is no longer news to our listeners. And, we have better understanding right now. Ifeanyi, are you here with us now?
I am actually. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clearly. How are you? Sorry about
Okay,
your
I'm
network
very well, thank you.
issues. Yeah, sorry about your network
Yes,
issues. I
it's
know
all
how
right. My video will come out
tricky
in
that
a few
can be.
minutes. Yes, please.
Okay, okay, that's
Yes, please.
your video experiences on how fire and burglary insurance has been beneficial to your business. I asked that particularly because I know that you've had quite a number of experiences with customers, businesses on taking up fire and burglary
Yes.
insurance. So how has that been beneficial to them?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I was going to give a scenario to earlier prior to the network glitch. So I was just trying to say that sometime in the past, a client of mine, I know we had taken time to onboard this particular customer. I think it took about 8 months, and finally, when we got him on board, 4 months into the policy year, he had a burglary attack. That there was some forceful entry into his superstore, and of course, goods were carted away. And you know how these things are now, as in having to think, oh my God, how do I bounce back? But immediately he just told me that this has happened. I said, not a problem. The primary thing I need is the claims police report. Just first get me a police report. The notification he told me, he was verbal, so immediately I notified my technical team. He got a police report. We told him the other documents to submit, and voila, we were able to promptly settle his claim. So he was very happy. At least he didn't have to go take up another loan or look for family and friends to borrow him money. That claim amount was able to get him back to the position he was just before the loss. However, there's another side incident. Another person that we had just had a bit of conversations around insurance for his warehouse. He's a big importer, and of course, just to start up the year, in January, he had stocked up his warehouse, what 700 million different items. Unfortunately, on a Sunday, there was a fire, and the fire just carefully left his office that had nothing but just burnt all of the goods. So you can imagine January, how do you start up the year with that kind of calamity? I'll use that word. And unfortunately, he had no insurance, so he had to start from ground zero. But we say in Nigeria or in Africa, where there's life, there's hope. So he just has to, as in now, he's an advocate for insurance. I'm sure when he certainly gets back on his feet, that'll be the first thing risk mitigant he's going to take up, just to ensure that his business is secured in terms of risk. So basically, those are the two scenarios I'll share. I'd like to mention that insurance is not the fire and burglary insurance is not only for business owners or corporates. Personal individuals did it. You need for your own house. So imagine that you own the building. Of course, you have your personal effect content within the property, and your house is boggled. Of course, it would be a shame that you spend so much to acquire those goods, and some funny people have taken away. You need to recoup. So these are things that insurance can just come to play to help you out, especially to get you back to the position you were before the loss. So that would be my charge, Dima. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ifeanyi. Thank you so much. I had said before you joined the call that it's not my portion. It's not an insurance cover. You need to
And
actually
trust me,
take
we get that a lot.
visible. You get it. You need to actually take visible steps, actual steps to protect your business. God forbid that after spending so much money and time. I know some of these businesses, we even some people want to also leave it to their children, and then you just have an incident of fire and everything goes down the drain. I think that we are not also strange to this news, or I think in the Lagos market, people complaining about how, you know, there's fire incidents, and then you see people crying and all that. It's always very sad, but that doesn't always have to be the story every time. If you have a fire or burglary insurance in place. Akinjide Orimolade, thank you so much. I'm just reading your comments on the chat room. You said, with insurance, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Fire can happen without notice. So it's just better to have it, and then you realize, I don't need it. I don't need it this time, but doesn't mean that you will not have it, because when you need it, God forbid that you don't have it at that time. So thank you very much, Ifeanyi. I'm sure that the man who owns that big pharmaceutical that finally took up the insurance policy will be super grateful that he did. Even if he did it reluctantly, who knows, but he'll be super grateful that he did. Ifeanyi, don't you agree with me?
Oh, certainly, yes. And he has even become an evangelist, if I would say that, because I've gotten about 2 or 3 customers from him as well. So certainly, yes.
Okay, that's great. So if I still with you, I mean, I'm going to be with you for a very long time right now, because Benga has been chatting with us for a while now. If I still with you, we are well aware of the change in prices, and you would agree with me that it's almost impossible to buy items that you bought last year today at the same price. You would agree with me. So businesses are not also left out in this change in prices and all of that. So what happens when someone experiences a fire or
I muted. Did you mute? If you muted, you able to hear.
if I are you with me?
He's not muted.
Yes, I'm muted.
Hello, if I confirm you can hear me.
Don't know what you said.
Can you hear me fine? Okay, Benga, I would interest you to know that we already have a couple of questions begging for answers. So I can't wait for us to get to the question and answer session so that Oladuni can get an answer to his or her question. I don't know if that's male or female, but we're gonna get there, Oladuni. I see your question, and then we're gonna answer that. Thank you. Ifeanyi, are you with me? Okay, Benga, I think I should probably just ask you the question. Hi, Benga.
Yes, I can hear you, Chidima.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Hi, Chidima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, all right, fine.
Can I go ahead with my question?
Chidima, please, can you take the question again, please?
Okay, great. That's fine. So I said that we are well aware of how the prices of things are just constantly changing, and what you could buy with 50 million is before last year is not the same thing you can afford this year. So what happens to a businessman who has experienced fire and burglary insurance, but had insured for 50 million, and then because of what Benga said, he said insurance is to take you back to where you were before the incident occurs. But you know that if you give him back 50 million, he can't do anything with it anymore. He can't get, you're not taking him back to where he was because the prices of things have changed. So how does that play out? Is there some sort of top up or reevaluation that a customer can do on his fire and burglary insurance so that he is one with the times and then he doesn't lose out completely?
Oh, yes, certainly. When you take up your insurance policy, it's always advisable at every point in time, you're in tune with the right values. So, for example, you have insured a building for 100 million, and down the line, this property has actually increased in value, it's just important to go back to your insurer to update that value. So at every point in time, you can always reevaluate or update your values with your insurer. And why? Because if you don't do that, what the insurance company will be looking at the point when you have a claim is the value we've insured for. So like the initial scenario I painted, so if you insure for 100 million and the value is now 180 million, when there's a claim, I'll be looking at 100 million. But if you had insured right, reevaluated that property to 180, certainly I'll be treating the claim on 880 million. So it's very advisable that every point in time, you always ensure that you're speaking to the right values when it comes to your insurance policy. And just to note that this also comes at no extra charge. So you just always ensure that you state the right values. You might think you're cutting corners, that once I tell them, they will increase the premium. But what about the flip side? Once you don't tell them, the right claim will not be paid to you in the event where you have a claim. So it's always important that we state out the right values. And of course, when this cost increase or values increase, always inform your insurer so that the needful can be done. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for that response. So once you realize that the value of whatever you're insuring has increased, it's always good to go back. I would like to call it a top up or reevaluation so that you are not losing completely. Thank you. How often do you advise this reevaluation? Do you advise customers to always carry out reevaluation? How often?
Okay, as often as possible, Chidima. So once the market value has changed, so it's just important that you update these values. You understand? So today in January, the cost of a certain car is 5 million naira. Come mid-year, it's 7.5. Or at the end of the year, it's another 10 million naira. It's just important that you do it as much as the market price changes. You understand? So that when there is a claim, like I had mentioned, you'll be treating at the exact value which it goes for in terms of replacements.
Great. Thank you so much. So as often as you can, when you realize that the value has changed, you go back to your insurer to do a reevaluation. Benga, I'd like to ask at this point that it's possible to think that online businesses do not need a fire and burglary insurance. Because guess what? We have a lot of online businesses these days. They just have their store on Instagram, on TikTok, and it's possible to just overlook fire and burglary insurance. So what do you have to say to this, please? Should online businesses bother about taking up a fire and burglary insurance?
Okay, thank you, Chidima, for that question. Yes, you're very correct. In our economy today, we have so many online businesses. In fact, people sit down in their houses and get the product from one source and pass it to the other source, and bingo, you've made your sales and you've gotten your profit and move on. However, there are instances where once the product is in your custody, where you have that product pass through you physically. For instance, you've purchased it, and maybe there is a place you are temporarily storing it before it moves to the final buyer or the person that has purchased those products. You will actually need to have that short-term period being covered, in the sense that you don't know what can happen at any point in time. It can be at that point in time where theft can happen, armed robbers can come in and cut away those goods. We've had instances where people get product from one leg, they store it for like 2 days and quickly move it down to the final customer. Within that 2 days, anything can happen. Fire can happen, theft can happen. And you remember that the client has actually paid for this, and if there is anything that goes wrong with that product, it means you actually have to bring out of your pocket to go and source for that product again. So it's essential to note that where you are having online business and you have a position where you have physical possession of those goods, then you need to have insurance in place. There are also instances where the supplier immediately supplies those goods and it shifts the responsibility immediately to you. You will need to cut those products from that premises to a particular point. That process, a transit, there could be anything that could happen. There could be an accident, and you could also need a GIT, what we call goods in transit insurance, to cover that exposure. So to conclude and say that online businesses would not need insurance is not totally true. You actually have to have insurance in those areas of exposure, because if anything happens at that point, you might have to bring out of your pocket to deliver to your clients, which you've made promises to. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you, Benga. So yes, online businesses do need fire and burglary. You have good place, correct? Hello,
Yes,
Benga.
please.
Yes,
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 please.
yes, yes. If I was wondering if you had something to add to this online businesses and fire and burglary insurance.
Oh yes, I do, Chidima. I think firstly, Benga just did justice to that response. It's important to ensure that regardless of the fact that if you don't have a physical store, you should always have insurance. So it might not even be about the goods, it might be the logistics carrying the goods from point A to point B. You might even be someone that provides some form of consultancy services and you're not dealing in goods. You need some form of professional indemnity. You can take some other policies. So it's not all about fire and burglary. What we just say you do is just to get that professional advice to ensure you have your risk elements catered for. So in the event where something unforeseen occurs, you're being covered. So like I mentioned, it could be professional indemnity, it could be anything else. But once you have that insurance in place, when there's an issue, the insurance will come through and pay the liabilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ifeanyi. Let's not forget to use the reaction buttons. I don't see that coming through. Reaction button. Thumbs up, a round of applause. Yeah, I just did now. Exactly. Great, 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 great. I see it coming. I see it coming. I see it coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So, Benga, I'd like to ask that, are there cases where insurance policies can overlap? And how does this affect the insured?
Okay, thank you. Yes, there are cases where insurance can actually overlap, where you're covering the same products or you're covering the same stock in two different places. Yes, it's possible. But one thing is that as an insurance um, broker, we do what we call analysis of your business to ensure that does not happen. And also you as a client can also do that on your own. So what do I mean? You have what we call fire and burglary, and you have been covering it in a particular place. You cannot, what I put it now, cover it elsewhere, because what it means is that Mr. A is covering his premises for 50 million, and it goes to another company and covers that same product with 50 million. In insurance, if anything happens to those products, Mr. A will want to claim from point A and point B to give him 100 million. That means you are getting more than what you've actually lost. So in insurance, we have what we call contribution, whereby those two insurance companies come together to actually now pay you the 50 million you have lost so that you don't profit from insurance. Now, not speaking to fire and burglary per se, also, we have what we call the life insurance aspect. In that instances, you can claim as much as you can because there is no limit to the amount in quantum of life. So if you have three life policies, you can actually claim from those three policies to get your benefits. So to summarize, yes, the policies can overlap. You can insure products or your house in more than one places, or you can have one or two policies covering the same thing. But you should try as much as possible to avoid that, because what it means is you are just paying the premium twice on the same benefit. So it's just for you to ensure you dimension your stocks and your products carefully when insuring. And we are here to assist that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that Benga deserves a thumbs up. Don't you think so? So we're just going to go ahead and give it thumbs up, Benga. Thank you. So great, great. I see the thumbs up coming. Thank you so much, Benga. Yes, you can, there are cases where insurance policies can overlap, but Stanbic Capital Insurance Broker just tries to guide the customers so that they don't pay the premium twice. Yes, Benga, is that true?
Very true, correct. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, we have a couple of questions in the chat box and also in the question and answer session. We're going to take them pretty soon. I think we have about two more questions. Benga, this is still on for you. So, what other insurance policies should businesses take, um, together with fire and burglary insurance, of course?
Okay, thank you very much. For other policies you can actually take, as I mentioned, depends on your business. There is no one policy that fits all kinds of business. The kind of fire policy I'm going to buy is going to be different from your kind of fire policy. Um, and every business has its various exposures. So, for instance, we can have the same business selling, let's say, um, mattress, or we are selling edibles, but in your own business process or structure, you are not responsible for how the goods get to your premises. All you are doing is, I've bought the goods, deliver it to my premises, then I would ensure you get your money. Whilst my own structure could be, I don't want you to deliver it to my premises. I'll pay you, buy it at your premises, then bring it down to my premises. In such instances, I would need like a goods in transit insurance, but you might not need that because of this different business structure we are having. So that's just like a typical example. So back to your question on other insurances. Yes, there are other policies people can buy. And for mostly one of the main policies you can also add to your fire and burglary is consequential loss extension, where we know that when fire occurs, it takes some time to get back to your business. Maybe possibly restock, rebuild the premises and the rest. What consequential loss insurance is trying to do is that within that short period of time, or whatever period it is, that the profit you are losing due to that incident, the insurance will be like a stopgap and make that payment to you. So, for instance, an incident occurs in your premises in January, and it takes you like 1.5 months to come back. Between that 1 month, you're not making any sales, you're not making any profit, you are losing because of that incident. What insurance does, and what that consequential loss or business interruption does, is for you to be paid that loss of profit within that period until you actually bounce back to your business. In addition, you can also buy goods in transit, as I mentioned in the example earlier, where you look at your business structure and see what kind of policy you might actually need. Also, you can also buy depending on your structure, and that's why I'm emphasizing the structure. There are businesses where cash are not dealt with. You don't give your staff cash to go to the market to buy. You call the supplier, my staff is coming. Please give him 10 whatever products you're selling, maybe 10 shoes or 2 bags of shoes or the rest, and it brings it down. There, you are not giving him cash. Whereas some are like cash based, like people who are not within the city and they're still much more dealing with cash. They use cash to buy. For instance, where you go um, to the interior parts where you want to buy farm products to resell in the city, those people don't deal with much of this electronic. You give them physical cash to go buy those things. Now, in those instances, you actually need like a money insurance. So those are so that the things you need to have. So there are a lot of insurances you can buy as long as you can identify the process, identify the exposure, and then use an insurance to actually place a stopgap in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Benga. Thank you. Yes, businesses can have other types of insurances together with the fire and burglar insurance, but you just need to determine. It depends on the type of business that you are into and your exposure that determines the other type of insurance that you can have. Benga, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. If I am back to you, thank you, Benga. Thank you, Benga.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. Please, can you tell us how Stanbic IBTC insurance brokers can help businesses with the right insurance deals?
Oh, thanks, Chidima. But can I kindly ask that you take it again, please?
Yes. Can you please tell us how Stanbic IBTC insurance brokers can help businesses with the right insurance deals?
Oh, certainly, yes. So firstly, Stanbic IBTC insurance brokers is a duly licensed insurance brokers operating in Nigeria. So we're not just, let's say, part of the bank. No, 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 no. We are a fully licensed brokerage insurance organization, and we take on all types of insurance policies. To start, what we do when we engage clients is just to ensure we provide, firstly, that risk assessment. Because not one size fits all for all customers. We need to understand your peculiarity and how your business works. Then we can tailor make a product that suits you. We also ensure that this policies or this risk that we have identified with you is placed with the right insurance company that of course come to the party to pay claims when there's an issue. And one of the things I call as our forte is the claims management. So for us, we believe that the reason why every customer takes up an insurance policy is to ensure that when there's a claim, that there's somewhere you can fall back to, just because of that peace of mind. So that is what we put at the front order, the claims processing. So at the instant or the moment a client reports a claim to us, from start to finish, we handhold them to ensure that these claims are paid very promptly. And all of this we do at no additional costs to the clients. What we mean by that is if you're, once we get your risk details and the quotation is provided to you, that's exactly what you're going to be paying. Going through us, you'll probably be getting this at some form of discounted pricing, because we have liabilities we put on the table and we put with the insurance company. So we kind of get some discounts, which we of course pass to our clients, our customers. So all of the services that we render to our customers are at no extra charge. So basically, that's it. Also, worthy to note that we tend to work with financially capable insurance companies. So even before there's a challenge or something with a certain, we already tell our clients that we see this coming, so we would ensure that we put their portfolio in the right places. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ifeanyi. Thank you so much. So Stanbic Capital Insurance Brokers will ensure that we handhold businesses to take up the right insurance policy, not just for the purpose of just selling, but to ensure that they are adequately covered in case of eventuality of fire or burglary, or fire or a burglary incident. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi, for that. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi, for that. So how can we get in touch with Stanbic IBTC insurance brokers, please? Ifeanyi, please.
Thank you, Chidima. Oh, certainly. There are various mediums via all our social media platforms. You can actually get in touch with us. You can also send us an email at Stanbic IBTC. StanbicIBTC.com. That's insurance solutions at StanbicIBTC.com. You also reach us through our number, but primarily through our social media handles and everything. You're just one step away to getting to us. So once you drop a message, certainly to get to us.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we're gonna put the apologies, please. Okay, great. We're gonna have the website put in the chat box so that if you want to get in touch with Stanbic Capital Insurance Brokers, you know how to go about it. The website is currently in the chat box, so feel free to copy it and paste it in your email address so that you can, chat to Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers. Thank you very much, Benga and Ifeanyi, for that insightful session. Let's not forget our reaction buttons right now. Let's give Benga and Ifeanyi a round of applause, a virtual round of applause, a thumbs up. Do we have flowers here? Ta-da. Okay, yeah. Great, great, great. I can see. Benga, can you see the round of applause coming and the thumbs up? Yeah, and
Yes,
your
I can. Yeah.
flowers and your flowers. Thank you so much. Thank you for that insightful session. I learned a lot with the insurance policies for online businesses. I would have thought that online businesses shouldn't even bother. But yeah, thank you for demystifying that and making it very yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can see the round of applause coming in. Right now, we're going to take questions. Benga, I told you that we have a couple of questions begging for answers. So we're just going to start with, I'm going to start with the question from Oladuni Adewi. So Oladuni says that, good morning. If I am to take a burglary or theft insurance for my business, will the building and other assets, by other asset, he means furniture, equipment, and so on, would they be treated separately? Will the building and other assets be treated separately if he is to take a burglary or theft insurance for his business?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question, and thank you for your time joining this session. So now it depends on two things. One, if you are the owner of the building, and if you're the owner of the content also. If you are the owner of both the building and content, yes, you can take one policy to cover both. That is, the building will be stated with the value, and also the contents and the furnitures and fittings would also be estimated with the values, and you cover it. However, if you're not the owner of the building and what you have only is the content, your responsibility will be to insure your contents, because that is what your insurable, what we call insurable interest, financial interest, is in that property. And that will be like the standalone policy you'll be insuring your content. Thank you. Hope that clarifies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benga. That clarifies. We have another. So we have another question here from Olusoji. He says, what's the limit on fire insurance policy? For example, we have a property given out to a tenant in Ikoyi. Loss occurred and the tenant is presenting a receipt of a mattress bought in the US equivalent to 11 million. What can we do to have control over the value of items used in a rented apartment? Benga, do you understand that question?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see what happened in that scenario, and what happened is that possibly You've rented the apartment, the landlord owns the building, and maybe a fire occurs, maybe due to the it's not the fault of the tenant and his contents were lost. So to the question, you might not be able to have control over what people bring into the premises they are renting. However, to prevent such from occurring, it's better for you to actually ask the tenants to declare the values of what they might want to bring in, so that in the event of any loss, you have like an idea of what you might be facing. Or better still, when you are doing your renting out your premises, you state it in the agreement that you as a tenant, please ensure you insure your property, that you want to cite the evidence that you've insured those contents, so that if there is any fire or damage to those contents, they won't resort to you. They can claim from the insurance company, freeing you from the financial stress of fire damaging their contents. I trust that helps you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benga. Thank you so much. I hope that that answers your question, Lushola. Kingsley has a question here. He says that, are there collaborations between insurance companies and the National Fire Department on the service expectations to reduce losses?
Yes, thank you. There is always collaboration between the insurance companies and the fire department, because as you are well aware, the more collaborations between both parties would actually lead to lesser losses in the society. So we've had instances where the insurance companies actually contribute some form of funds to help in this firefighting equipment, which can reduce the number of fire issues in the society. We've also had instances where there are collaborations where insurance companies together with the firefighters um, do like a training sessions to people to know what to do in the event of fire, how to prevent fire, which helps the society in general, and it helps someone from actually preventing a loss rather than recovering from a loss. So yes, there's great collaboration going on between both parties to get that done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Benga. If I like to ask, and this is going to be the last question for the session, but rest assured that all your questions will receive answers in the chat box and via emails too. If I please, there's a question here that says that what is the expected turnaround time to get reimbursement from an insurance company?
Okay, thank you very much, Chidema. So, basically, reimbursements, if you leave me, I would say 3 days, you get, but these things are actually a factor of how quickly we can get documents from the clients. So once you notify a claim, what we do immediately is to let you know the documents that would require the estimate of repairs or replacements, the police reports, a claims form. Once you submit all of those, we can then start the claims processing. However, if you take time in dropping all of those documents, it will also delay the claim as well. So assuming the client drops all his documentation, document requested within 5 days, just for example, in another 3 to 4 days, you should get your discharge voucher. Afterwards, you sign off and your funds is credited to your account. So it's just a function of how quickly the clients can come back with the requested documents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the ball is on the client's court. The earlier you submit the documents, the earlier you get reimbursed. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi, and thank you to everyone who has joined. Thank you, Benga, for your time. I hope that it's been an insightful session. Thank you for all the engagement, a virtual round of applause, the thumbs up and the flowers. Thank you so much. Time. I'd like to welcome the Executive Director, Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers, in person of Temitope Pupola, for the closing remarks. Thank you so much, Temitope. Good afternoon, Temitope.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining this call. We do appreciate your participation in this webinar. So on behalf of the management and staff of Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers, I want to say a very big thank you for joining today's webinar. And we are also very delighted at the engagement opportunities with you, as we know that these are deliberate steps to show how you can protect your business and for you to have a necessary coverage that will take you and preserve you from unwanted circumstances. We trust that today's session has been worth your while and that you will be leaving with more insights such that your business will benefit from them. With the discussion and knowledge shared on fire and burglary insurance, you have either been equipped or reminded of information that can give you an edge in our current realities and considering the economic realities in our country. We strongly believe that this knowledge can become the game changer for your business in 2024. I know the insights shared by esteemed speakers, Benga Williams and Ifeanyi Yoko, are very powerful in deepening our understanding of the importance of adequate insurance coverage for the protection of your homes and businesses and to prevent any unforeseeable disasters. Therefore, we urge you to take immediate steps and action towards securing your business in this current environment. At Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers, we don't just provide brokerage and insurance advisory services to our customers. We also forge partnership that is built on trust, expertise, and unwavering commitment that you can depend upon. And we understand the uniqueness of your business, and we see this as an opportunity to guide you and provide the necessary support to help you explore all avenue of insurance deals for your businesses. To everyone that has joined on this call and those that will be replaying this session, I encourage you to also consider all the insight that has been shared in this session and take the necessary steps to protect your business. Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers is here to support your journey and to ensure you have success in your business in this economic reality. For more information, please contact us through our various channels. Our email address is being put on the chat room for you to contact us. And we are available 24/7 to answer all your needs and your requests. Once again, I want to say thank you again for taking time to join us today. Thank you to everyone that's been part of this call. To our esteemed coordinator of the event, Chidima, thank you and well done. And to everyone that has been part of this call, we appreciate your contribution and your comment and question and for listening through. Thank you and do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you, Temitope. Thank you. Thanks for joining as well. We appreciate your time. Thanks to everyone who has joined in. Thanks to the Stanbic IBTC Insurance Brokers. Thanks for having us. Thank you to our attendees for the time that you have taken to join us. Feel free to reach us on all our social media platforms and via the email that has been dropped in the chat room. Thank you so much. For those who we couldn't take their questions, rest assured that someone will reach out to you to answer your questions. Thank you so much and do have a great afternoon. The recording for this session will be available on YouTube. Feel free to listen and then, for areas where you would have missed, feel free to go back and gain the knowledge. Thank you so much and do have a great afternoon. Bye.